Okay, I saw this video. Uber Mormon. Here we go.
Go through this phase when leaving the church. They start at, the church is true and the church is good.
Yep, that's where I started. And boy, are we in for a wild ride.
And then they move into, the church might be true and the church is good. And then
Okay.
they go to, the church is probably not true and the church might not be good. And then they go,
Oh. Let's go back on that one. I don't think so. I don't think I'm there yet.
and then they go to, the church is probably not true.
KNOT. It's probably not true. Huh. No, I mean, it's true. What's not true about it? It's not true. It's probably not true. KNOT. Huh.
And the church might not be good. And then
Oh, it might not be good. KNOT. Might not.
they go to, the church is probably wrong and it probably has some good things, but I don't know if net good or evil. I don't know if it is quite at zero anymore. And then people go to, the church is obviously wrong and evil.
Whoa. Yikes. Yeah, so you can see how the devil just drags you to get this to this ridiculous position at the end. Like, the devil is making some great points. You want to run it back? The devil was doing great.
People usually go through this phase when
They
leaving
usually go through this phase. People, he says. This is a doctrine of demons right here, but take a look.
the church. They start at, the church is true and the
The church is true
church is good.
and the church is good. So here I could say this is a wicked position, because you think the church is better than God? Wicked. You think the church is more true than God? Wicked. So you start off as idolatry. That needs to go away. And that's where we need to shed to get to an appropriate place. Because this is where I started. I thought the church was godly, godlike. Okay, the church is not that great. It's a true church. It's better than the other churches, obviously. My goodness. Obviously, it's the best church on earth if you're into God and repentance and stuff like that. Now, this guy, he doesn't know the Lord. He doesn't know anything, really. He's just kind of stupid. But me, I love the Lord, and I love God, and I love church. So for me, the church is better than all the other churches. The problem I had, I thought the church was true, and I thought the church was good, which was wicked. That's a wicked thought process. The church is true compared to other churches. The church is good compared to other churches. That should be obvious. But it's not better than Jesus. It's not better than God. Okay, so for those of our brothers and sisters in Utah, stick it.
And then they move into, the church might be true and the church is good. And then they go to, the church is probably not true and the church might not be good. And then they go to, the church is probably wrong and it probably has some good things, but I don't know if net good or evil. I don't know if it is quite at zero anymore. And then people go to, the church is obviously wrong and evil. And then there's one after. And I didn't realize this for a long time, but there's one after. And it's, the church isn't true. But there are some people who really need it to be true, and it might add value to their lives, even if it doesn't add.
I like how he says this. I agree. The best church on earth is the one that brings you closest to God. And for certain people, like for me, I already know the Lord really well. I'm very close to God. I'm very religious. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the truest church, and it's the best church. Well, it's the truest church. Yeah, it's the truest church, and it's the best church for me. So that helps. So he's right about this. Like, for some people that know God and love the Lord in righteousness, then yeah, they're going to benefit a lot from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So,
value to mine. My state now is to hate the church would be like to hate ibuprofen because my leg doesn't hurt.
okay.
I understand that some people's leg hurts. And so the act of me not taking...
Yeah, that makes sense. So he's like, I understand that some people love God and they love church and they love religion, they love repentance. So for the people that aren't, people that aren't worshiping the devil, I could see how the church would be good for them. For people who aren't just completely swamped with mortal sin, I could see how that would be. I could see how the righteous would like it. So this is pretty rational here at the end. He's talking about ibuprofen. He's talking about Proverbs 22:17. I'm sorry, 17:22. A cheerful heart is good medicine. A crushed spirit drieth the bones. So this guy is more of a crushed spirit type. You could see him, heavy eyes. He loves his pornography and stuff like that. He just couldn't live without it. It's pigs. They don't understand humans. A pig. Proverbs 30 verse 20. It says a pig. What's Proverbs 30 verse 20? This is the way of the adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and then saith, I've done no evil. And that's kind of what this guy's... This guy is basically a manifestation of that. He's basically saying, hey guys, I got a microphone, I'm wicked, I'm going to bash the church, but I'm not going to bash the church, because if I bash the church, then, it's like bashing ibuprofen, it's like bashing medicine, it's like bashing happiness, it's like bashing righteousness, and I know people are into that. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, I'm wicked, I'm unrighteous, and I love pornography. He's like, so for me, the best church is actually over here. It's the quasi-agnostic Big Bang, and then there's a 7-colored rainbow in the sky. And that makes more sense to me because I get to watch naked women on the internet. So...
ibuprofen doesn't mean that I also actively think that nobody should take ibuprofen. I do think that maybe some people think that their leg hurts more than it does, and we'll get into that.
Some people, they really overvalue, Christ and righteousness, the church, and those talks, those holy books, and understand, they have different capacity for God and Christ than me. So maybe for them who are a little bit closer to Christ and, it's kind of like, if you're going to be in space, you kind of have to have a space suit. And they have a space suit. So I'm not against them being in outer space. But for me, when I go to outer space, I never bring a space suit. So I can't even breathe in there. So for me, I don't like angels. Better to rule in the terrestrial kingdom than to serve in the celestial kingdom.